Hi, my name is Glenn Bell, and I'm the founder of Golden Zone Technologies, and I am also the inventor of a number of things that help you grow food on less water, less labor, less time, less hassle, a whole bunch of things. But give you a little background on it, I've been a member of an online think tank for inventors for years and years and years. And about 14 years ago, an organization by the name of DARPA approached our organization and asked one of the things they asked us, their futuristic problem solving, was to come up with a way to grow food in drought, because when drought happens, water becomes expensive, vegetables become more expensive. In self-defense, people try to grow their own food, and most of them will fail, but they will exacerbate the water issues. So they asked to find a way to make growing food easy for everybody, to eliminate the failure ratio, and to cut down on the consumption of the natural resources, water, fertilizers, all of those things, so we don't have runoff and become damaging in the food system and the water system. So I'm here to introduce this system to you. Please bear with me. I'll try to go as briefly as possible, and hopefully you're seeing this on our website, and this will answer some of your questions. Okay. Now, in drought, the biggest problem is heat. And this was my aha moment. After working about 6 years on this concept, trying to find a way to do this, I actually went out and in southern New Mexico, where we're constant zone 4 drought, I went out and actually took the temperature of the soil. Now you can do this. It takes a little bit of specialized equipment, but it's very, very easily done. And a normal day here is 105 to 110 degrees in the middle of the summer. What that means is our soil temperature, unbeknownst to me and most people who are into this, it turns out to be about 150 to 170 degrees Fahrenheit. Now that is measured at the depth of 2 inches. 2 inches is the depth of almost all roots. Herein lies the problem. You go out there and you, under normal circumstances, now I'm going to give you kind of a comparison between this system and normal gardening. Normal gardening, what happens is you go out and you plant your seeds. Most seeds are planted at an inch depth or less, meaning anywhere from 1/8 of an inch down to an inch. And pardon me, down to 1/8 of an inch. And what happens is that soil layer is so hot it actually cooks your seeds or your seedlings or your roots. And here's the other problem: you start putting water on top of that. Water starts at steaming at 110 to 112 degrees. Now, if you put water on that 170 degree soil, it's going to steam off immediately and cook your baby plants. This is why so many people have such a problem in growing in drought. All right. Now, this system here is based on a number of different philosophies and technologies, but the real end result is what's called deep root gardening. All right, deep root gardening, what that does is put your roots to your plants at a depth that actually holds water and keeps a much more constant temperature. That temperature that swings to 170 degrees in the daytime, at night drops down to 60 degrees. So if you think about what that does to a plant, going from 170 degrees to 60 degrees, that's a 110 degree variance. That plant's going to be stressed all the way up and stressed all the way back down. So I had to find a way to get the plant and the root in a system that is going to be at a consistent temperature day and night. And I have found that. This is the Drought Ring. It's a simple ring that gets buried to grade. This is the grade of your soil. This gets hollowed out inside of it. It gets hollowed out inside of it, and once it's hollowed out, then you add a couple of amendments and take a pie. This is a real food pie. You have to excuse my food pies. I'd set them out for this presentation, but it rained on them a couple of days ago, and they have now sprouted. This was not the intent to show you sprouted ones, but they'll be fine. So anyway, so this gets buried to grade, and then you hollow this out. So that means you actually start your plant at about 5 inches deep. That's where it starts. And the roots now go from 5 inches to roughly 10 to 12 inches deep. So that deep root, what happens is that temperature stays consistent day and night between 70 and 90 degrees. That's the perfect temperature for growing plants. So bear with me. I'll take you out to the garden and show you exactly how to use this. Hold on, be right back with you. All right, folks, I'm back. I'm going to show you how to plant the drought rings and the food pies, and I actually have seeds for another one, so you'll be able to see all 3 different ways. Anyway, first thing I do is I take the drought ring, and they're all solid, and I make the outline. Once I got the outline, then I just take and dig out the area where the drought ring is going to be. This is okay soil, it's not great soil, so everybody's going to be able to experience about the same thing. So you take the drought ring and clean it in, cleave it to grade. Now it's at grade. And then I take this, which is a dirt dog, loosen up the soil inside, down 3 or 4 inches. Then I clean that out, or a lot of that out. But all the soil down here is loose. Now here I have some compost and a little bit of cow manure. So I'm just going to put a handful down here. Mix it in with this. All right, now this is one of the food pies. This is actually a squash pie, and it got wet in the back of the truck and decided to sprout. So I'm going to set it in here, try to get it to where it sits comfortably down here at the bottom, and I want the top of the pie to be parallel with the bottom of the ring. So this one here is set. This one here, do the same thing. Now remember, these rings themselves are made of all the good things you want to put in your soil to grow. That they are made with manure and hardwood compost and worm castings and volcanic rock minerals and more organic matter. And it has everything you could possibly want to grow. And as you water with these, you actually break down the ring itself. And as the ring breaks down, it feeds. It feeds your plant every time you water. And at the end of the season, once you've actually cropped off all your crops, then you just cut up your plant and put it back into the hole. Cover it up, put some more manure on top of it, and water. And it becomes its own compost pit right here. So here's the ring again. Here's the pie. Take a handful of this, mix it in, and set your pie in about parallel with the bottom of the ring. Now, for demonstration purposes, I will take this one over here, and I've got some corn here, and I'm going to show you how I use each one of these rings will grow multiple plants. This has about 4 squash plants. This has about 4 eggplants. This is going to have about 4 corn stalks in here. So here you've got, just in these 3 rings, about production of about 20 pounds of produce. All organic, all done right here in the soil with absolutely no petrochemicals whatsoever. And when you water, and I'm going to show you exactly how this works, down to grade, set this to grade, hollow out the interior, loose soil down here, add in the rest of this, mix it in with your hands. Now, take this out of the way. What we'll do is we'll take about 4 seeds, and I'd like to plant them about 2 inches deep at the base of this. At 2 inches deep, I'll put about 6 in here. And as they come up, I will thin them down to 4. There, that's 6 seed right there. All right. Go turn the water on, please. Now, the first time you water these, you want to water them very, very well. Pardon me. I fill them up. Don't worry, that's only about a gallon of water. Pardon me. Don't worry if the pies float a little bit, because they'll settle back down. And once the seeds take root, the roots will go through the paper and set them. As you can see, they're already filling up. This amount of water will more or less set these seeds. Now, when you go to water them, you just come in and under normal water or normal hose flow, this is how much water you normally give it a day. 1, 2, 3. That's it. That's about a quart of water. That's for 6 corn, or for 4 squash plants, or for 3 eggplants. That's it.